Okay, I'll just try to get this video made. Sorry about my voice and the background noise of the computer. I got these glasses on because I have so much reflection off my screens that it wipes out the other ones anyway. So, this is Fred from RV Maintenance and Mechanical Things, and one of the mechanical things we're going to be talking about today is washing machine. The name of this one is a Cabrio. It's a Whirlpool. I think it's about a 2015. And if you ever had the displeasure of working on one of these things, you might find this helpful. It took me quite a bit of searching to figure things out. What happened was I was sitting there and the washing machine was running in the other room and it just sounded like it was grinding. So I went to take a look, and it's one that has like a flat agitator. It doesn't have one of those that looks like a screw, and it wasn't moving the clothes very much. So I started taking this thing apart, and I'll put some pictures in here, and hopefully this will just turn into a voiceover. Too bad I don't have some background music. You're just hearing the humming of my computer. But at any rate, because I'm using a desktop and not a laptop, not that sophisticated, I started tearing this thing apart, and it looked like it needed a transmission. Basically, it was a shaft, and so I ordered the parts because there was a seal, a shaft, some bearings, and then I started taking it further apart. And as I did that, I began to discover that I ordered the wrong parts. That might have been how they used to fix them, but that's not the way they were fixing them anymore. You had to buy a whole transmission assembly. Talking to my friend who's a CAD designer, he said that's a trend in the industry. They componentize. So it's probably using the wrong word. What they do is they take several components and they make it into one. It's cheaper for them to build and produce, but you as a consumer, when you go to buy it, it costs you more money because now you're paying for components that you don't need, but it's cheaper for them. I'll give you another for instance. I have a 2010, actually my daughter has now a 2010 Nissan Versa, and the rear hatch latch quit working. It's electronic. So I was able to order one for about 15 bucks online, and it still didn't work. And searching Dr. Google, I came to find out that there's a workaround. It's losing the ground. So I could tap a ground into this switch and make it work. So that's what I did. But now when you lock the car, it still works. So the car is not locked. So as I checked into it with more research, I came to find out that the passenger door lock and unlock window actuator, this runs through that. So you have to tear the passenger's door apart and spend $110 and replace this whole component that rolls your window up and down and locks your door on the passenger side, and also disables the latch from working in the back. So I just put the latch on the inside. So when you want to open a hatch in the back, since it's a 5-door, you open the back door and you reach inside and you push the button. So anyway, I'll put some pictures in here. They could have made the shaft out of stainless steel and this would have never broke down, but instead they made it out of iron, and it always sitting in water. So what happened, you'll see on the splines basically rotted away, and so it's slipping in that agitator plate. So I had to order an agitator plate and a complete transmission. And I'm trying to remember the cost of the parts. I had $200 in parts anyway. The transmission I'm thinking was $175, and then it was another $25-35 for the agitator plate. So when you go to take this thing apart, you have to get the old assembly had like 5 or 6 screws in it that you took out, and then you took the retainer off of the agitator plate. The new one has a spanner nut. If you're not familiar with a spanner nut, it's basically a big nut that a special wrench fits into. It's got a couple slots, and you use a hammer and you tap it loose. Well, I didn't have the spanner wrench. I didn't want to spend another $10-15 for one, so I used the pipe wrench. It worked fine. And I'll throw all this up in a video so you can see a little bit about the disassembly. Then to get the drum off, I found a nice trick. Use a scissors jack. Most people have one in the back of the car today, and you cut a piece of lumber to fit in a drum. What they don't point out to you, and when you watch the repair guy take one of these apart, he's working on a brand new machine, which he can basically pull apart by his hands. So I even have the measurement of the board, because you want to hit the inside of the drum, the metal part, and not the plastic part, otherwise you could end up breaking more parts. So I got a picture of the new assembly, and you can see the difference in the splines. And then my last picture there shows my celebration drink, a shot and a beer. So hopefully this is enough time to cover all the pictures. It says 7 minutes on my clock here. I will put the pictures in and get this posted. So hopefully those of you that have a Whirlpool washing machine will have an easier time of it than we did getting it fixed, other than I think it's a bit pricey. Hopefully this will last them another 5 or 10 years, but we looked at buying a washing machine, and one at this level is probably about $600. So it cost us $200 and some cussing to get this one fixed, and it should hopefully last a good long time. I did get some anti-seize, and I coated everything, the threads and the spline, with anti-seize, so hopefully that'll protect it from rotting out the way it did. But planned obsolescence is very much in our business plan with corporations today. Good luck. Stay safe.